Okay, looks like we're live now. Yeah, here we go. Now we're live. Welcome, everyone. This is the May 7th, 2017 uGames Firefan Google Hangout for Firefan app. And welcome, viewers, for checking in with us today, whether you're watching this live on replay. This is the time we do it, 1 p.m. Central Time, Sundays, here at Central Time here in the United States. So I'd like to welcome you, viewers, again, if you watch this live or on replay, or even possibly listening on one of the internet radio stations we broadcast on. Thank you for taking the time to check in with us today. My voice is a little off, little Kentucky Derby hangover from yesterday, and so and a workout this morning to try to work it off. So I'm a little bit off today. I am again flying solo during these quiet times. You know, now it's probably just going to be me for the few weeks ahead until we get into the NFL season, where they bring soccer on. We'll talk about that in just a minute. This is just an update hangout today for the Firefan app, and got a little bit to add today. Got some analysis of the Kentucky Derby yesterday, and a look towards the Preakness here in upcoming race in a few weeks as well. So no new news really, in regards to the Firefan app. It continues to be NBA only. And like we do here on every one of these hangouts, the rationale for having these hangouts is to teach the viewers, the viewers, how to score the most points using the Firefan app. Now, the way we have done it from day one has been, and it's worked out great, is you've got to play that pregame. The pregame is where you'll get most of your points, because you can play 37 pregames a day, with the NBA, and so, now the playoffs are going on in the NBA, and hopefully they'll get baseball back up there on the app, in the weeks ahead. But we'll see. It'll probably come around mid-season. I think they'll redo it and get it back up there on mid-season. I've seen some of the beta. I've played some of the beta. It's good. But it's just so many games. And I know they're taking their time, refining or fine-tuning it to get it back up there. So currently we have the NBA playoffs going on right now, and there are a lot of good games going on, and we'll see who makes it. There's some really good teams this year, different than years in the past. I don't think Golden State's going to make it back this year. They're going to try, but even with Durant, we'll see. Maybe they'll step it up, step their game up. They haven't had much competition, whether it's the Spurs or the Rockets, who they play next. That will determine whether they obviously make it in or not. But I think they're going to get some really stiff competition. Not getting much from Utah at all. But whether it be the Spurs or the Rockets, I think the Rockets actually match up better. But the Spurs will give them a run for the money for sure as well. East, it's wide open again from Cleveland to any of the other teams that are still in the playoffs. So we'll see from the Boston to the others. But it's interesting, during these quiet times to kind of look and do my due diligence and research on the upcoming things coming around the corner, all the soccer leagues that are still out there now. And soccer's making its main way into the TV broadcasting as well. Almost a full day of soccer was on programming yesterday, and on one of the networks, and that was quite interesting. So we'll see what happens, in the weeks ahead. But the NFL season, which is the storyboard for the Firefan app, and will continue to be that way, where the bulk of Americans will be playing until they get soccer on the fan base. It's going to be NFL, and first NFL game is August 1. But the first NFL game that counts is Labor Day weekend, which coincides with the college football as well. So anyway, we'll talk about the Kentucky Derby here in just a minute, but in showing out these things, here, playing the Firefan app, getting your pre-games in. If you don't have time to read all the questions, everything, just tap the top left option they give you, and just blow through the pre-games and play every single pre-game. You'll get the most points, and just do that on a daily basis, and you'll rack up some serious points quickly, a lot quicker than you think. And so let's talk a little bit here now about the Kentucky Derby. I'm going to try and keep this thing out shorter even than usual. I've got some traveling I've got to get to here in the next couple hours. So, the Kentucky Derby, I had my picks done yesterday. I picked 5 horses, and the horse I really liked a lot was called Looking at Lee. The number 1 horse, and the reason I liked it so much is, it closed very well in the Arkansas Derby. I've seen its pedigree. It actually got the number 1 post position. It was a sloppy track or an off track actually, yesterday at the Derby. But the being in the number 1 position, all that does is tell me it's going to travel the shortest distance than all the other horses, typically, if it gets a good ride. Anyway, it came in second and paid $26, in a place bet. So it's pretty strong. Had it won, it would, and it couldn't have caught the first horse. But if it had won, it would have paid $60 or so, to win, $55-$60, to win. But $26.80, as a place bet, still isn't too shabby. Anyway, I do my annual picks, and I did pick 5 horses yesterday, and these are the order that I picked them in. I picked them in Looking for Lee to finish first. The winner, which was Always Dreaming, second. Third, I picked Classic Empire. Fourth, I picked Pot of Luck or Perfect Something. And then the 5th pick, actually at the bottom, my 2 long shots I like were Looking at Lee and then Battle of Midway. Anyway, I picked 5 horses yesterday, and all 5 of them came in the top 5 finishers. So it was really kind of a really, really good day. I wish I was at the track and made a lot of money, but still, it's good to know that your skills are still, as good as they were many, many years ago. So it was a good race, a lot of fun to watch, and I think 20 horses are maximum. You get those horses in the middle of the track, and some of those horses, from 12 to 16 that were all favored and everything else, they had so much mud flapping on them, and a lot of these horses that just don't like that mud being thrown back up in their face, and it hampers how they run the race. And I know that happened with some of them, Gervin and some of these other horses. But the horse that won, Always Dream, was it Always Dreaming? Yeah, Always Dreaming. The Florida Derby, it had one of the best times. If you look at all the horses that are out there in that 1.125 distance, they actually went 1.25 miles. Was it a mile? I think the Derby's 1.25 miles. Further than 1.125 miles, and a mile. The winner, Always Dreaming, finished in 1:47 and change in the Florida Derby. And that's a really, really fast. And so I knew that horse had a good chance of taking the distance. I just thought that Looking for Lee would close and get it there at the end, but did everything, just didn't close enough. So anyway, it's fun. The Preakness is coming up, and it'll be in a couple weeks, and we'll have a lot of fun handicapping that one away. I don't know whether this horse will win the Triple Crown. I'd love to see it happen, but bring more action to the thoroughbred racing. But we'll have to wait and see. I kind of have my doubts. It's going up against some fresh horses, that didn't have it run in a while. So it's got to go back to racing in 3 weeks. So, but it's a strong horse. We'll wait and see. But it is a fast horse, and it winning the Derby was a good race, good race, and good out for it. So a lot of fun to watch all the pomp and circumstances there in Kentucky, and the hats and the nonsense that goes on there. 153,000 people were in that track to watch a race that lasted 2 minutes. So really interesting. A lot of fun to happen. So anyway, that's all I have for today. Thank you, viewers, for checking in. Like I said, whether you watch this live or on replay, I appreciate the time checking with us as we get closer to the NBA season, or the Firefan people decide to bring on soccer or any other league. Hopefully, Major League Baseball make it back up there. We'll obviously get on and tell you, viewers, and what's going on with it all as soon as we know. So thanks for checking in. Next week we'll be back on I guess it'll be the 14th of May, and I'm not sure what the topic is. It's on the website, so just go to uGameHub.com. If you're not watching us, you might be watching us on one of our YouTube channels or other places that we host or embed at. But if you go to uGameHub.com, you'll see our schedule for the entire month of May. So thank you, viewers, for checking in with us. We'll see you next week, May 14th, and enjoy your beginning of the end of the school year and the summer starting. And we'll see everyone next week, May 14th. Thanks, everyone. Take care.